funny, this feeling inside. I'm not one of those that you can easily hide. I don't have much money, but boy, if I did, I'd buy a big house where we both could live. If I was a sculptor, or then again, no, or a man who makes potions in the traveling show. I know it's not much, but it's the best I can do. My gift is my song, and this one's for you. And you can tell everybody this is your song. It may be quite simple, but now that it's done, I hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put that in words. How wonderful life is when you're in the world. I sat on the roof and kicked off the moss. Well, a few of the verses out there got me quite cross, but the sun's been quite kind. Well, I wrote this song, it's for people like you that I just scrolled and I lost my place. It's for people like you that, where'd it go? Okay.
Keep it turned on.
Yeah, I know, but I scrolled and the whole page just disappeared. Let's see, where am I? Let's just do this. And you can tell everybody this is your song. It may be quite simple, but now that it's done, I hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put that in words. How wonderful life is when you're in the world. I hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put that in words. How wonderful life is when you're in the world. Welcome to the Now Show. Woo! When are we doing it? We're doing it right now. That's right.
Now.
I'm Joseph Mojo McCarthy. I'm here with my host Dan and our co-host Mary, and we got a cool guest that I have never met before, so I have nothing to say about her yet because I don't know anything about her. Although I know she's a friend of Pastor Joe, and that's good enough for me. So welcome to the Now Show, and we'll see what happens because it's all live here right now.
Woo-hoo!
Awesome. Oh my goodness. It's good to be back with you guys. I've missed you. And I was only gone for like 3 days.
That's all? Oh my gosh, it seems like a week.
Yeah,
well,
it felt like a year.
When you're among friends, you know. So, well, hey everybody, my name is Dan Roeder, and I am a composer, PEAR-former, edu-creator, and chief academic officer of the David Z Foundation, where we transform lives through the magic of music. And I was actually just filming this last week in Chicago, 3 schools in 3 days, 3 professional music videos. And so it was kind of an insane week, and it's good to be back. So yeah.
You're alive. You're alive.
And live.
Live. All right, over to you, Mary. Tell us about you.
Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Awesome Mary on all platforms, TikTok, X, not on Facebook, but yeah, Instagram, whatever. And I am a mother of 2 young adults. I live in Colorado. It is a beautiful day today. I work from home. I am an entrepreneur like you, Deborah, and I have been since I was 8 years old. I am a graphic designer. I am a blog creator. I am a online course video editor. among other things. And I'm a constant student. I love learning new skills all the time, and I love to travel. So yeah,
That
back
all?
to you.
Yay!
That's it.
That's it.
I love it. I didn't say much about me, so just real quick, I'm
Yeah,
playful,
Huffley.
playful polymath. Playful polymath. I can't say that. Playful polymath. I'm a creative communicator. I'm a musician, a writer, an author. I do video and photography and music and graphic design is my profession, has been for a while, but I love words. And I love that what we're doing right here on the Now Show is we're creating a conversation that we've never had, that's never been hacked in the history of the universe, and will never happen again because the combination of variables of who we are right now, where we are right now, these variables will never happen again. It's only happening right now. It can only happen right now. And so I'm excited that in the Now Show, together with my co-hosts and my host and also our guests, we're creating something. We're creating the art of conversation. And that's what this whole show is about, is creativity and collaboration to create community. And that's what we're doing right here. So Deborah, I'm so pleased to have you here. Thanks for joining us. You're muted. I think you're muted.
Oh,
Oh, are you? Oh no, you are. Okay, it's the little
Dead air, the
red
worst
mic.
thing in the
There
world,
we
right?
go. It's all good. It's all good.
Deborah's here.
It's called dead air. It's just dead air is just breath, breathing room.
Right. Yeah, I feel like I met my kindred spirit with Mary because my vision started at 8 years old as well. And I love to travel so much that my husband and we sold our lake house. It'll be 4 years ago this July, and bought a fifth wheel and truck. And so we're traveling around the United States, just living life and doing business. And Branson, Hollister, Missouri is our home base. So here you are in the Oval Office.
that's awesome.
Nice.
I love that.
People have an Oval Office and some people have a mobile office. I prefer yours.
Me
Yeah.
too. I would not want that Oval Office.
No, thank you.
I love
So,
it.
so what part of Missouri did you say you're in? My wife's family is kind of from the Russellville area. Do you know where
Sure.
Russellville is?
I do. So Branson, south of
Wow,
Springfield.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, cool.
We used to be in St. Louis for about 10 years. My husband was an aviation mechanic, and he worked just across the Mississippi River in Cahokia at Midcoast Aviation, and moved down to Branson in 2010. So, yeah.
Oh, I've heard Branson is one of those places you just have to visit.
You do. In fact, I have to tell you a fun story. So,
Stories, yay.
to stay in community, because we're gone a lot. I'm working part-time at a box office at one of the theaters here, and I got to meet this amazing couple from New York. And I said, what brought you guys to Branson? Because I'm always intrigued how people find us. And they said that they're big in the entertainment world, and they were Google searching where should they go for their next vacation. And they said they were torn between Vegas and Branson. And the whole reason they came to Branson was because our crime rate was much lower. And they said, I don't know why we didn't come here sooner. I was like, yes, I love
Oh,
it.
awesome.
Other people are really enjoying the culture of Branson.
So Deborah, let me turn the question back on you. What brought you to Branson?
Ooh.
I like that.
Oh, okay. So we're in the moment. It's a long story. And
We like it.
You're
We
here.
like long
Oh,
stories.
you're here. Tell us stories.
so I was planning on starting our production company in St. Louis when we lived there. I had the honor and privilege to mentor teenage girls on an international level for 12 years. And it was through Faith Walkers International. And I felt like the Lord was saying, empty your arms so I can fill them. So that meant letting go of literally everything. I'm like, but everything's going so great. I'm having such a great time. We get to travel. My husband and I had been married 19 years, no children. And so I thought, okay, so maybe we're supposed to travel the in vitro road. So we did. We had triplets.
Wow.
And
Wow.
yeah. And so the month they were supposed to place them in my womb, my ovaries had hyperstimulated 3 times their normal size. So they had to put them on ice. And the very next month, my husband's niece, Jennifer, chose to end her life by fire and left behind a teenage daughter named Angel. So we were trying for a baby, but we got an angel instead.
Mm.
Jennifer had moved about every 6 months to keep the abusive father away from her daughter. And so when we got Angel at the age of 13, we didn't want to raise her in St. Louis, and her mom did some things right by her. And one of them was put a pen and paper in her hand at a very young age. So she's extremely artistic. And so I was asking my husband, well, where are we supposed to finish raising Angel? And I was thinking places she had already lived before, right? And he said, Branson. And I said, what, Branson? I thought that was too country for you, because he's a city boy from Michigan. He's like, no, it would be good for her. So we put the studio on hold because I knew she needed stability, love, and care after everything she had been going through her whole entire life. And she's now 27. We got 2 grandbabies, are absolutely adorable.
Oh,
And I'm just
awesome.
really proud of how well she has developed here in this community, because she's surrounded by like-minded, like-hearted people.
Wow.
In fact, so much so she works at Panera, and somebody came in yesterday and gave her $100 tip because they felt like the Lord was calling them to bless her. And I'm like, that's the community Branson is. They're very hospitable, very when you come as a tourist, we love our tourists. The population here is about 10,500 ish, and we entertain over 2.5 million people a year.
Right. Yes.
Wow.
That's so cool.
Ooh,
That's
so,
so cool.
so Deborah,
That just inspired me. That's really cool. Deborah, you were brought to us through Pastor Joe, who was one of our guests here, and I love him to death. I've known him for about 3 years, just online. Tell us, how did you guys meet?
I honestly don't 100% know for sure. I know. So we did a pilot for a sitcom I was working on called Ruby Unleashed. I feel like I met him before that, though. He played our traveling dog groomsman. He did a great job on that, too. Again, Branson is so hospitable. I'm sure we met I don't know.
It's okay. But the cool thing is that you met him and you guys connected, and then he connected me with you, and here you are, and I love it. That's awesome, and love to have our audience get to know you. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Oh, sure. So
as a career,
I'm a lot like you. There's not a lot I don't do. So when I was 8 years old, I grew up in Kansas, so we were neighbors if you're in Colorado. And my dad was a pastor, and my mom, at the time when I was 8, she was a stay-at-home mom, and she got pregnant right before we moved to Garnett. And then my sister was born, and she was probably about 2 or 3 years old, and my mom wanted to go back to college, and that's a fun story we'll save for another day. But I was 8 years old, and we got our first black and white TV with a remote control. Okay.
Yeah.
And so the first
click.
Yes. And so we got to watch our first show together, and it was the Miss Universe pageant. And I was just like, no, it wasn't. It was our first color TV, because we went from black and white to color. No remote yet. It was still the box thing. And I was just like, whoa. It was so beautiful watching this controlled chaos of all these amazing costumes from around the world moving across the stage in a precision where they didn't hit each other in the face with their costumes. And I'm just like in awe of the production of it. And I'm like, I want to do that one day. And my mom looks at me, and she's German from heritage, and she's like, honey, I love you enough as your mother to tell you, you will never, ever, ever be able to do that. You have Rudiger hips, so you're not going to be able to do it. Later on, I figured out she thought I wanted to walk the red carpet, which I don't care about being in front of the camera. It's the behind the scenes that I wanted to do. And I didn't know at the age of 8 what Rudiger hips were. I know now. But at the time, I didn't know, and yet I have found that those Rudiger hips have been playing a very active role in being able to carry the weight of owning a production studio here in Branson that I started 10 years ago, and we're entering into our 9th season of the Branson International Film Festival. And reaching the international community is a heartbeat of
Wow.
mine, because our first international trip was to the Philippines. And one of the things I discovered there, I thought I was going to a third world country that needed us. And I ran into a country full of love that longed to come to America. And it was like, you guys have something here in your country that we don't have. And that is a love for one another and a community that actually cares about each other, whether you're homeless, whether you're wealthy, middle class. Like, you don't see that there. You see genuine love, kindness, and compassion is more the hierarchy than the dollar sign. I said, please don't come to America and get contaminated. Stay where you are and just keep loving each other.
And there's some musical too.
They are.
Music is such a cornerstone.
Yes.
Their dance, everything. Like my Baptist feet were dancing over there like nobody's business.
I run a karaoke space on X, and every Filipino person that comes into the karaoke, they're amazing singers, and we're like, is it in the water? What's going on here? Yes,
I think so. That's just because they're so happy over there. They thrive.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
So Deborah, let me back up a little bit. You said it's the 10th year of the Branson International Film Festival. Is that right?
Oh, no. So 10th year for the studio, 9th year for the Branson Film Festival. And we just moved it up to Springfield. In fact, when I get done with y'all, I'm going up to Evangel University in Springfield, where we're hosting it August 7th, 8th, and 9th. Because we have a lot of the independent filmmakers that are always looking for interns. And Evangel has a great film training there. So I want to help connect those two together. So we're creating a situation where independent filmmakers and storytellers, authors, like all the things, they can come and be in our expo center. And we're hosting it the week before classes start. So all the kids will be there getting set up in the dorm. So there'll be a lot of really good foot traffic to connect them together.
Yeah, that is amazing. I love that community building focus that you have. When I was in like my very first out of college job, other than I was a youth pastor and I worked at McDonald's and I worked at a place called Space Alien, I was also a composer for film music. And so I kept going to all of these film composer symposiums and conferences and all the things and meeting all these film composers. And then I finally had this epiphany, like, I don't need film composers. I'm a film composer. Who do I need? Directors. So I started going to film festivals, and then that's where you have those conversations that really move the needle and change your stars, because you're finally meeting the people that need what you have, so I think there's that awareness piece of like, okay, I love that I built a community where I feel welcome among other film composers, and we have some really great friendships and relationships, but I need to actively put relationship and like build relational capacity with people that I can actually work with and that are looking for what I have. So I love that you're just focused on that, especially like as interns, and really building that solid foundation.
Yeah, and that's one of the things, when you go to Walmart, you see where the groceries are: automotive, electronics, women's, men's. So we're doing the same thing. This is our first year of we're flipping the switch. Instead of having vendors there trying to sell to our producers and directors, we're creating a scenario where we have musicians row. So like if you were coming as a composer, you would be one of our vendors. And if you're a casting director or an agency looking to connect with actors, you're going to have your own row. And we also started something a couple of years ago that we've decided to make it a thing. It's called The Actor's Voice. And yes, it was inspired by The Voice. And this year, they're going to come in, they're going to do a 1-minute monologue in front of 3 judges that are casting directors here in Oklahoma, Kansas, and Missouri. And they only have 1 minute to do their monologue and make an impression, because they're not just getting judged by what they say in that minute.
Right.
They're getting judged on how they enter the stage and how they exit the stage.
Sure.
And there's a room full of producers and directors that are the audience watching. And the first year we did it, there was a young man named Lance Brown here that got discovered by Salty Earth Pictures out of Wisconsin. And they hired him. Peggy Lee Brennan, she was in MASH. She was Houlihan's best friend.
Right.
That was in a couple 2 or 3 scenes. And so her and her husband Rick live here and also in New York, and they got picked up by Salty Earth Pictures too. And so all of them were in a production, and then Lance got the lead on their next production that just launched this last fall, called One by One. So that's what our goal is with the film festival, is to not just have a festival that gathers everybody together and then it just sits there and they go home, kind of like church camp, right? You have this great experience and you go home and it's like, now what?
Yeah.
So yeah, in fact, we have there's so many amazing stories. So there's one, Jim Clark. He's retired. He was an executive at a nursing home in California. He's in Corona, and he wrote this story called The Greenhouse, and it's a pro-life thriller. Imagine an abortionist who his daughter and her unborn child are murdered, and he's finally like, I just can't take this culture anymore, and he leaves and comes to the Midwest, and he decides to start a greenhouse, kind of as his therapy, right? The only thing is, these plants are inhabited by the souls of the babies he's killed.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
It's one of those stories. I hadn't read a script like that before.
Right.
And Jim came to our film festival, and I just kind of checked in on him about 6 months afterwards, because it won our top award for scripts. And I said, how are you doing? He's like, I just don't know what to do next. And I saw the problem.
Sure.
And so since then, we have helped him develop his proof of concept. He's got his budget together. He's got his pitch deck together. And here in a couple of days, we're launching a crowdfunding campaign to start bringing in resources for him to produce.
Wow.
Oh, awesome.
That's really awesome. How can you tell us where can we find that when you guys set that up and launch it? Where can we go to that crowdfunding?
So the one we're launching first, it's on ifundwomen.com, and I'll be putting it out on all the socials, or they can go to studio222films.com, sign up for our newsletter, and my team will be sending out information on that. Because of the industry we're in, I had the honor of being introduced to a film finance guy that has over 250 projects under his belt, and he's now a consultant. He helps raise finances for Passion of the Christ, A Fish Called Wanda, RoboCop, The Twilight Zone, Edward Scissorhand, God's Not Dead, the Left Behind series. Like, he knows what he's doing. And so we're going to go ahead and bite the bullet and level up to where he's at and hire him on. And he's going to train me in all the things that he knows.
Wow.
He was on the Sundance Film Festival Board of Directors for 4 years. So that crowdfunding campaign is going to be launched here in a couple of days. So I'm excited about that one. And then from that, it's going to stem out, because we've got several projects. There's the greenhouse. I'm doing one that's going to be offering a message of hope to Native American children. No, I lied.
Rewind.
It's offering a message of hope for the 5 million children that are living in violent homes right now through a Native American voice.
Wow.
I don't know if you guys remember, it's been 10 years ago, duh. So I launched our studio March of 2015, April of 2015. Adam Sandler had done a sitcom. Of course, what else would he do, right? And it was, it wasn't a sitcom. It was a spoof on the Native American culture called the ridiculous something. Anyway, there were some derogatory lines towards the Native Americans, and my husband is Native American, and I have Cherokee in me. My third great grandmother was on the Trail of Tears and forced to marry a private in the military that was marching them across to Oklahoma. And so I have a heart for the Native American community. So when they said we wish there were more real and authentic stories, that we're not the victims, that we're the overcomers, we're the powerful voices that bring a change. And when I prayed about it, I was like, Lord, how can I help them achieve those goals? Because I see it in my everyday life through our families, but I also see the struggle, as I shared with you about Jennifer choosing to enter life. Like, there's battles that their tribes battle and face because of generational things that still hang on to them,
Yep.
And so I wanted to be that person that created a place in the space for them to be able to make some noise in a positive direction. And so we started the camp. It's called it's the Broken Colors trilogy. Not Too Far From Here is our first full feature film that Kevin Sorbo is going to be involved with. Becca Shea, who's a Native American Christian artist out of Nashville. I was telling her the story, and she stopped me at one of the scenes, and she's like, wait, Deborah, 2 months ago, I had a vision of this very thing that you're saying for one of my new songs.
Wow.
She's like, you got to kill the kid. And I was like, we totally do. Like, we were both so excited that we killed this kid in the story. And she's like, can I use that in my music video? I was like, and of course, my PR side, like, hello, no brainer, right?
Right.
Yes, exactly. So, so in 2023, my husband and I bit the bullet in a very powerful, strong way and invested $53,000 into buying a Ford Explorer to give away in a sweepstakes where we challenged America just to explore the possibility of driving down violence in our nation. Because I believe by May 28th of 2030, just 5 more years, we can decrease violence in our family homes by 20%. I would love to eradicate it, but that's not realistic. And Oklahoma was the number 1 for domestic violence. So we took the Explorer there and really just encouraged and strengthened the tribes that were there, that were really, they're really making a difference in their communities. And it's my honor to say Oklahoma is not number 1 anymore. It's number 11.
Wow.
And it's because the communities there in that state are pulling together and they're working together. And we were able to go in and bring exposure to the good things that are happening, so those that are suffering can actually plug in with people that are not just giving them resources and putting a Band-Aid and saying, oh, you're a victim, poor you. They're saying, okay, that happened, now let's get up and get going. Yeah. And that's what I'm seeing across our nation. And so this last year, we were able to go to Alaska, which is number 2. And so we're expecting numbers to drop there as well. And this is all kind of my heart anyway, not just making movies, but making movies that move and change our culture.
Yeah, Deborah, I love everything that you said. There's times here on our show, and that's why I love our show. Our show brings people in here that some people I connect super deeply. We've had like Hillary, and we had like several people in here. I totally connect with what you're saying. I love it. I am a survivor of a domestic abuse. I wouldn't say violence, but abuse. And so I'm 100% want to be like part of what you guys are doing. And I'm so glad that Pastor Joe brought us, connected us. And I'm happy to support guys in any way that I can. Awesome.
Oh, I know a great way. Have you heard of Emily Pike? Okay, I hope you never forget Emily Pike's name. So Emily Pike is 14 years old, forever 14. She was a part of the Native American community in Arizona, single mom, doing the best she could, I'm sure, trying to raise her. at the age of 12, the first 911 call went out with Emily's voice on the other end, telling what happened to her. The man was arrested, put in jail, released, no charges. The next year, it happened again with a different man, except this time he was released and Emily was taken from her home and put into foster care. She was removed from the unsafe environment, right? So here she is, 13 years old, with the only person she knows that loves and cares about her, right? That's her mom. Now all of a sudden she's put into the foster care system. And she's running away from the foster care system because she probably wants to go back to her mom, right? I don't know her personally, but if I was a 13-year-old girl thinking, I want my mom, you know, like all this bad stuff's happening to me, and the only person that's ever loved and cared about me is my mom, and she's taking care of me. So she's ran away several times from the foster care system. The last time she ran away, they found her. Her body has been dismembered. They have no idea who did it. So she will forever be 14. And this is common, unfortunately, in our nation. I wish I could say it was the only place. But here's the cool thing that happened because of her. The state of Arizona, not the tribe, that all tribes in our nation are their own sovereign nations. Okay, so they're nations within a nation. So they have their own government system. Our government back, and this is why May 28th is so important for me, because that's the day Andrew Jackson signed the Native American Removal Act that led to the Trail of Tears 5 years later, that started the my heritage to start to disintegrate. So our government historically among the Native people is not looked upon with favor, right? But the government of Arizona saw what happened to Emily, and they unanimously brought in the turquoise law, or the turquoise alert. You know how we have the amber alerts? We have the silver alerts. Now there's a turquoise alert. So if there is a child or a person of tribal descent that's missing, doesn't matter why, there's a turquoise alert that's going to go out in Arizona that there's a Native American person. Doesn't have to be a child, it could be an adult. And the kicker, there's not tribal nations in all states. So I can hear some of the states saying, why should we do it? We don't have a tribe within our state. Well, I can tell you why. My husband and I are a prime example. If we're in your state, my husband is a Saginaw Chippewa Indian from Michigan. But let's say we're in, I don't know, Alabama. I'm sure there's probably one down there, but let's say we're in Alabama and he goes missing for some reason.
Right.
We can put a turquoise alert out in Alabama and he can be found a lot faster. But if there is no turquoise alert in Alabama, nothing will be done. I'll be at the mercy of 911. So, wow, there's one of those moments. I didn't realize we were going to go there, but I hope nobody that tunes into this ever forgets Emily Pipe.
Yeah.
I love that. And one of the connections I have with that is that both of my kids have Cherokee Indian in them from their dad, and so yeah, that's really definitely interested in this, and so
yeah, I
look into that, contacting my state representative. Go ahead, Daniel.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I just, as you were talking, and I mean, thank you for sharing all of that. It really struck my heart as well. I've been working a lot with the Native American community in northeastern California, in Modoc County, the Pitt River tribe, and we've been doing a lot of things together in music and film. And we actually, I want to do a little, this kind of review of what I put up in the Jumbotron. I was going rapid fire for a little bit as you were talking, but this is for mostly for people if you're watching the YouTube replay, or if you're watching on X Live right now. I put the live right here on Chatmosa in the Jumbotron so that folks can reference all of these resources. And I like to think of it as like a gallery walk of like a three-dimensional conversation, because we have not just this conversation, but also what we talked about lives on in this little gallery. So then I also put the IFW website that you were talking about, and Studio 2.
Dan, tell us what number slide you're talking about so people can.
Yeah. So number 3 slide. Oh, yeah. Good. Excellent. Well done. Slide 3 is the iFund Women that you were talking about. Slide 4 is Studio 2.22 films where stories come to life. And I love the images that you have there.
Yes.
Slide 5, actually, that was kind of we were talking about Branson. And Polly Z, who's our CEO at David Z Foundation, they're playing Branson October 11th. So I'll see if I can get you some VIP tickets.
Yeah.
So it's a Queen tribute band. And then
when is it?
October 11th, 2025.
Polly's got an incredible voice, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it later. But if you look at slide 6 and 7 and 8, that's when you were just talking about the Native community, and especially you were referencing MMIW, Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women. That's a lot of the work that we do, that RISE does. It's Resources for Indian Student Education. That's what they focus on, a lot of film and music projects on just letting people be more aware and of this really complicated and heartbreaking history. So slide 6 is a song that we actually wrote with them, just looking at what are career and technical education pathways for Native youth. How can we just support the young voices and the stories of today's youth in Native culture in Northeastern California. And then they also, the RISE group was part of a movie called The Gift of Fear, which is all about MMIW, and it's on Amazon Prime. I know you can watch it there, but I got to go to the premiere of that down in LA, and it's absolutely stunning what they did, and just it's the rawness of the film, and just you have to, everybody who watches it just has to be faced with this the starkness of reality, with the MMIW. So I just thank you for sharing that here, and I know you didn't know we'd go there, but I just want to just tell you, like, I love so much that we did. Back to you.
Say the name of the film again. We didn't catch the name of the film.
Gift of Fear. It's called Gift of Fear, and it's slide 7, and it was released in 2023. And the kids in the film, I work with them on a pretty much daily basis. So it was just really kind of surreal to see them on the silver screen as well, and telling their stories, and then telling the bigger story of somebody who was abducted. And this story fortunately has a happy ending, but many don't. And that's one of the truly striking things that I think more people need to be aware of is just knowing is over half the battle.
Yeah.
You need to connect with, so a producer that's in here, Chris Martinez, connected me with a gentleman named Shane Grammer. He's a graffiti artist out in LA that uses spray paint to do his artwork, and he works with tribal people as well, teaching them how to use paint as an expression of their art. But here's the other fun thing. So remember I told you we're hiring on a financier to help us grow. He's actually helping a First Nations tribe outside of Coachella build a First Nations film studio on over 600 acres. Yes. And so yeah, so there's some really amazing things happening behind the scenes that in the next 5 years, you're going to see this explosion on the silver screen in a very powerful way.
That's amazing.
Wow. Yeah. So I want to jump here too. I'm listening to this conversation as it unfolds. And as you said, we were planning this. We didn't have a script, right? This is really organic. And one of the things I love about the show is that it is organic, that we are painting the picture. We're doing the art of conversation in real time. So none of us knew where this was going to go, but like water, we're going with the flow and creating something extraordinary. something incredibly beautiful. And I'm listening to the threads of this conversation, and we funded the show based on the 3C idea that we're creating and collaborating to create community through conversation. There's another C. But and listening to this whole conversation, it's all the same thing. It's over and over again. It's telling stories that matter so that people can connect with each other, collaborate, and create. And not only creating something beautiful and actually life-changing, world-changing, but they're creating community in the same time. And so what you're doing with your studio through the film festival, what you're doing with the Native Americans, it's all those C's, the C's that really matter. It's the creativity, the collaboration, the connection, the creativity, and community. All of those are in play all the time. So I just stoked. I didn't even know who Deborah was until right now. And now I feel like
it's so cool.
Right? Yes.
Yes.
So I just have you guys been using AI at all, like with ChatGPT, or
Oh yeah.
are you guys kind of like?
Yes.
We usually have a segment on the show where we do that.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome! So it's because my husband calls them wild hairs. I get them often, and they're attached to the spaghetti noodles of the creativity in my mind.
Yes.
So I actually,
love it.
I'm working on my business proposal that's professionally driven and focused, right? And so I just asked ChatGPT this morning, like I gave him all the things of what we're building out here, and I asked him to help me like hone in on what is that focus. And my pitch is welcome to Studio 222 at the Refuge, a place where creativity, community, and purpose grow together.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's awesome.
And so
Synchronicitous. Wait, synchronous serendipities? Is that?
Yeah, serendipitous. Yes, absolutely.
people capture what Deborah just told us, is that she took all of the data around what she does, and she wasn't quite sure how to describe it in just a few words. So she feeds it into an AI system that can synthesize all that, to use Dan's words. Synthesizer actually is a musical term, by the way.
Oh yeah.
And to bring it to a focus so we can put it in a few words and understand what does all of this mean. And I got to tell you, on the X platform where I'm pretty active, they have this Grok AI, right? And it says, Grok says, so do you want me to tell you about you based on all of your posts? And I'm like, okay. And I was kind of
maybe
what's Grok going to say, right? Because maybe something's going to come up that I don't like. But anyway, so Grok analyzes all the posts and all the connections I have and comes up with this paragraph, which really is me, right?
Yes.
And it's just a couple words. It says, this is Mojo. And I'm like, that is me. And I don't think I could come up with those words by myself. So I just love what you're doing there. And that too, even though that's a system, a computerized system, is still the same process. It's collaborating and creating something that is useful to the community. So I love that. Great illustration.
Yeah.
Love it. Absolutely.
That's
love it.
awesome. Well, I was just wondering, and this is me being a total nerd, and it's kind of a squirrel moment. But speaking of collaboration, I'd love to see if collaborate, nerdiness with a segue. I'd love to see if we can pop ourselves up top to the panel vision, because that was a collaboration with Chatmosa, just this platform. So, quick shout out to PEAR-coin, who's our sponsor for the show, and I'll put that in the Jumbotron as well. But then for you guys on the panel, can we try and go up top, because just show this new feature in Thanksgiving for what Chatmosa is doing. All you have to do is go to your the little camera button, and sorry for the squirrel moment, but I know the show is almost over, so it's time to get the shutting down energy anyway. But let's see. If you click on display on avatar and Jumbotron, I'm just curious.
It's not working for me.
Okay. We're testing.
I'm clicking on it, but I'm not getting anything.
Okay. So I see that's information.
What are you trying to do?
I was just trying to get on the Jumbotron.
Put our live faces up on the Jumbotron. There should be. There is an option on your camera menu that says display on avatar and Jumbotron, but that's doing nothing for me at the moment.
Yeah, and that's okay. So that's
Oh, we lost again.
Oh no!
Just like that. He'll be back.
Hey, I was waiting for him to come back. I want to give a shout out to Joshua, who's joined us. He's one of our writers from Uganda.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, hey, shout out to Joshua.
Guess where Dan's going later this year?
What? Are you
Oh,
serious?
wow.
Dan, can you hear us? Tell me when you can hear us, Dan. What's Joshua's last name?
Joshua, I'm going to totally butcher it. Oh, hang on. Let me look at it.
Let's say from Uganda.
Yes, please. Let me look at it, though, and I'll say it correctly.
So Dan, in and out.
Balakoa.
Okay, beautiful. So before we even went live, Dan announces that later this year he's going to Uganda to do a film with a school in Uganda, and you just said, "Shout out to Joshua, who's a writer in Uganda." Come on, you can't make this stuff up.
What?
Oh my goodness.
How did I miss that?
Exactly.
Because you popped out.
Perfect.
Oh my word! Yeah. So yeah, we're going to Uganda for actually 2 projects in like early July. So that's so
Is it gonna be
cool.
are you going to be near Kampala or no?
I believe that's where we're flying into, and then one of the one of the sites is in northern Uganda, kind of near the border of South Sudan, and then the other one is in the Sarati district.
I need
so
to
those
see. Okay,
Look at Deborah's face.
we'll talk later.
Wow.
Yeah.
let's talk. Let's talk.
Community, guys. Community. That's awesome.
Collaborating,
Yep.
creating community, and then I mean, of all the countries in the world Dan could be going to this summer, Deborah says, "Hey, Joshua's here from Uganda," and Dan just announced, "I'm going to Uganda." Oh, come on, let's go.
There we go.
That's so cool.
And it was actually just confirmed like yesterday, because I knew about the idea, but I just confirmed that yes, it's happening. I have a meeting in an hour, and we're going to plan it with our contact who's there.
Now you already have a connection out there. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. We're down to 4 minutes. I hate to be the timer guy, but I have work here in a few minutes. But Deborah, is there anything that we haven't covered that is really important to you, or that you would like us to ask you about, or just it's something that you want to share, you want to leave, a nugget you want to leave? Because I want to make sure that you didn't leave anything unsaid that you wanted to say.
Yeah, you guys, just our vision for Studio 222 is off of James 2:22. His faith and actions were working together, and his faith was made complete by what he did. And I think we just saw that happen. So don't let fear stand in your way of moving forward in whatever it is that's like burning inside of you, that you're like, you know, if you can conceive the idea, run with it. It may take a year, it may take 10 years, it may take a lifetime, but do it, because you're created for purpose, and you were created for a reason, not just to sit in front of TV and just watch and listen, but participate. Yeah. And you can participate in big ways and small ways, because really, honestly, it is those little tiny steps of faith that lead to big actions.
Yes. So Deborah, my working definition of success is a sustained series of small, simple steps in the direction of your dreams. A sustained series of small, simple steps in the direction of your dreams. And I stole these phrases, not that, but there's the next phrase I'm going to tell you I got from Robin Sharma, who says, "Dream big, start small, act now," and then I added, "and don't quit." Dream big, start small, act now, and don't quit. And that's how you get from where you are to where you want to be. And is it a straight line? No. Is it difficult? Yeah, heck yeah. But do you feel like you did something awesome? That's absolutely. That's what life's about. Yeah. That's my opinion, anyway. For what?
Let me read that. Yeah. Dream big, start small,
act now, don't quit.
That's awesome.
I tell anybody never. I put that on all my profiles. That's just such an important thing to remember. Deborah, I can't tell you how grateful I am to meet you. Now, I have lots of connections with you, which I can't get into, but I have 2 adopted girls. I pulled them out of what would have been a very difficult situation for them to grow up in, so protected them from a lot of bad stuff. And that's a whole nother story we won't talk about right now. And also, I grew up in Assemblies of God Church, and so many of my friends went to Evangel. My pastor's an Evangel grad. I know exactly where Evangel University is, and I have connections with that, which just, my heart ties to you because of that connection as well. But here's what I want to say is that I never met Deborah before right now, and as she's telling her story, I'm connecting with heart level and head level, and all these connections are making. Dan has some, and Mary has some. In fact, all 3 of us have already said, I relate to you on all these levels, which none of us would have known that had not had a conversation. That's why conversations conversations matter, right? Conversations matter because how are we going to have connections, collaborations, creativity, community if we don't talk to each other? That's what we're doing. Anyway, that's
well, also, Mo, I just want to let you know, speaking of connections, you are on the Jumbotron right now. You're just on slide one.
Yeah,
you are. So it's great. Like it's a great way to end if you have a song to end us off.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna tie it in a bow. Bookends. Here we go.
All right. So we're gonna go with Louis Armstrong. I see trees green, red roses too. I see them blue for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies blue, clouds white, the bright blessed day and the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh, the colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of the people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I will ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh, yeah.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
There you go. All right, everybody. That ends today's show, and tomorrow we have another now to get into. So we'll see you then, and make this now beautiful.
Thank you, Deborah.
Great.
You're welcome. See you again, I'm sure.
For sure, absolutely.
Thank you so much.